the positive square root of 16 plus the cube root of 8. So this is a new term, cube root. So let's take these two pieces one at a time, starting with the positive square root of 16. So this is asking, what squared equals 16? So we know that positive or negative 4 squared equals 16. But since they're asking for the positive square root, it'll just be 4. Now let's take a look at that cube root. So this is asking, what cubed equals 8? So to figure this out, we're going to start by factoring this 8. So 8 is 2 times 4, and 4 is 2 times 2. So now we know that 8 is 2 times 2 times 2, or 2 cubed. So we can say that y cubed equals 2 cubed. Then y must be equal to 2. So factoring our 8 helped us find what number cubed equaled 8. So we can say that the cube root of 8 is 2. And 4 plus 2 equals 6. Looking at our answer choices, that's option B. Let's try one more example with the cube root. Let's say we want to find the cube root of 27. So what is this asking? This is asking what cubed equals 27. So again, we're going to factor our 27 to try to find that number. So 27 is 3 times 9, and 9 is 3 times 3. So we can say that 27 is 3 times 3 times 3, or 3 cubed. If x cubed equals 3 cubed, that means our x is equal to 3. So we say that the cube root of 27 is 3, because 3 to the third power equals 27. What is the conclusion of the statement in the box below? If x squared equals 4, then x equals negative 2, or x equals positive 2. So we're not doing any math in this question. They just want us to identify a part of this statement. So oftentimes in math, you're going to have an if-then statement. So it'll say, if something, then something else. We call this first part the condition, and the second part the conclusion. So the condition is some sort of event, something that happens. For example, if it rains. And then the conclusion is, what do we do because of that event? So if it rains, then we'll need an umbrella. So essentially, if some event occurs, then what will happen? And looking at our statement in the box, it says if x squared equals 4, then x equals negative 2, or x equals positive 2. So our first part is our condition, and our second part is our conclusion. And another word for condition you might hear is hypothesis. But for this problem, they want us to find the conclusion. So that would be x equals negative 2, or x equals positive 2. And looking at our options, that's option D. What quantity should be added to both sides of this equation to complete the square? All right, so we have x squared minus 8x, and we're going to add some final term to complete the square. But since we have an equation, we need to add that to both sides. Now, what is that final term? We have a formula. We know that our final term is equal to our middle term divided by 2 and squared. In this case, our middle term is negative 8, so we'll plug that in. We have negative 8 divided by 2 squared. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. So we have negative 4 squared. And what is negative 4 squared? That's negative 4 times negative 4, which gives us 16. So our final term in the blank is 16. And looking at the answer choices, that's option C. Leanne correctly solved the equation x squared plus 4x equals 6 by completing the square. Which equation is part of her solution? Okay, let's complete the square on that equation and see if we can get one of these options. So we have x squared plus 4x, and we're going to add some final term to complete the square, and we'll add it to both sides of this equation. And that final term is going to be our middle term divided by 2 and squared. Our middle term is positive 4, so we'll plug that in. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 2 squared is 4. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. So let's bring this down. This is x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 10. So looking at our options, they turn the left side here into some number squared. So let's do that and see which option matches our work. Since we completed the square, this left side can be factored into x plus smiley face times x plus smiley face. So let's recall where each piece of our polynomial comes from. Our x squared comes from our first pieces multiplied. That's our x and our x. Our 4x comes from O plus I. That's our outer plus inner. And our 4 comes from our last pieces multiplied. So that tells us that our smiley face times smiley face, or smiley face squared, is equal to 4. So what number squared is equal to 4? That would be positive 2 or negative 2. However, since our O plus I is a positive 4, we can only get that from a positive 2 for our smiley face. So now we can turn our original equation into x plus 2 times x plus 2 equals 10. And the left side we can condense into x plus 2 squared. And looking at our answer choices, that would be option B. Tony is solving this equation by completing the square. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a is greater than or equal to 0. And we have 3 steps here, and the question asks which should be step 3 in the solution. So let's start from the beginning and follow Tony's work. So this is her original equation, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So it looks like she moved the c to the right side, and she can only do that by subtracting c from both sides. Okay, that step looks good. Then we have step 2. Our ax squared becomes x squared, our b becomes b divided by a, and our negative c becomes negative c divided by a. So it looks like she divided both sides of this equation by a. That looks correct. So what should she do for step 3? Well, now that she has an x squared and x term on the left side, she's ready to add that final term. So let's try to figure out what she'll write next. We have x squared plus b over a times x plus, now we'll add our final term, and we'll add that to both sides. And we have our formula for finding the final term. Our middle term is positive b over a dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by 1/2. So we'll have b over a times 1/2. Now we have 2 fractions. We'll multiply across. B times 1 is b, and a times 2 gives us 2a. So our final term is b over 2a, that quantity squared. And we could simplify this further. However, it looks like it matches one of our options. So we know that our final term is b over 2a, that quantity squared. And that would be Tony's third step. And that perfectly matches option D, so that's our answer.